What's up YouTube? This is Brian from Bull Strength coming at you with another video, and today we're going to talk about lifting with your legs and not your back. So we've all heard this old saying, right? Lift with your legs and not your back. So what did your mom or your dad or your grandmom actually mean when they were telling you to do this? A lot of people know to lift with their legs, but they don't exactly know how. So there's one key thing that you need to do, okay? One thing that you really need to know. And that's that the further the load gets away from your legs, okay? So if you're picking up an object that's a foot in front of you, what that extra space in front of your legs is causing is the load to actually hinge off of your lower back. So most of the strain, the focal point of that lift is on your lumbar spine, and this is not something that is optimal. This can lead to all kinds of injuries. It's not going to happen overnight, right? It's just that the damage potential is going to increase with time. The more you lift loads with your back, the less integrity your back's going to have. The less you support your back, the less your back is going to support you in the long term. So it's important to lift things correctly. You want to lift with your legs. So let's talk about what you should do. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your abs are tight, okay? This applies to any kind of deadlift, okay? So I'm talking about barbell deadlift. Maybe you're moving, you're picking up some boxes, you're picking up a heavy TV or something like that. You want it to be you want to keep that core stable. You want to keep it strong, because tight abs are going to serve to protect and brace your spine, okay? It's going to create intra-abdominal pressure, which is going to ensure integrity in your spine. Another thing you want to do is pull the object as close to your legs as possible, okay? And what you want to do is basically get your hands on it and sink your hips a little bit. And what that's going to do is, instead of hinging with your spine, you're now hinging with your hips, okay? That's what you want to do. You want to get your legs involved. You want to get your glutes involved. These are huge muscles, okay? They're like freaking hydraulic presses. You want as much load on your legs as possible, and you want to minimize the load on your back. Now, it's not saying that if you're going to lift up an object, if you're lifting with your legs, you're like magically not using your back at all. Of course, your back is going to be used to help get the weight up. It's just that the focal point of the strain is going to be on your hips and not your back. So pull that object as close as you can, or get as close as you can to it. Have your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider, and kind of squat down. Get into a little half squat, so that way you transfer the load onto your hips and off of your back. Now I'm going to show you some footage, okay? Because like I said, this applies to barbells. This applies to moving any kind of objects. I'm going to show you some footage of old training footage of an old PR. This was from 2012, back when I deadlifted 455 pounds for the first time, okay? And I want you to pay attention to my thoracic spine, my middle back, and especially my lumbar spine, my lower back. And I want you to look for that curvature that I'm talking about. And then I'm going to show you a video of me after I cleaned up my form, after I hired a coach and kind of cleaned up my deadlift. So we'll kind of go side by side and look at those. Alright, so here I am back in 2012, kind of a newbie to deadlifting, and here you're about to see a lot of rounding in my upper back. There's two things here. I did not sink my hips at all, right? So I almost did like a stiff-legged deadlift. So there's a lot of load on my spine here from this form. Another thing is that the bar is not entirely touching my shins all the way up, okay? It's kind of drifted away just a little bit, and even just like a quarter inch is enough to put a lot of strain on your back, especially with the barbell. Versus me about a month and a half, or about a year and a half ago, see how I'm sinking my hips, I'm pressing my feet into the ground, and that's shifting the focal point of that load onto my hips, right? There's not a lot of strain, not a lot of flexing in my back. Alright, so that's about it for the video. Look, the key takeaway here is to pull the object close to you, brace your core, and try to drive with your legs, okay? You don't want a huge load on your lower or middle back. You want to shift that load onto your hips, okay? So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, Please like the video, please give me a subscription, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.